Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for The Amazing Spider-Man issue 32. Yeah, that's a crazy kind of cover. Now, we are setting up for this going on with Kraven and Queen Goblin. I've been calling her Goblin Queen, where that is Madeline Pryor. Sorry about that. It's just, I'm not really that used to her. So it's like Queen Goblin. So this kind of starts us off, and we've got Patrick Gleason doing the art for this, and that works out pretty well. We do have the John Romita tribute in this, which is nice. It's like, yeah, especially in the Spidey issue. And I overall enjoyed this issue, though at the end I feel like it's just a little bit of a bridge too far of like, okay, now we're just completely shitting on Pete here. Though it kind of lines up with what we got with the other kind of palette cleanser. I thought, like, what I consider a palette cleanser would be like the Otto and Doc Ock bit that we had going on, and this dealing more with Kraven and Queen Goblin and stuff with Norman. So we'll have to see how this goes. This has to be handled very carefully with what happens at the end of this. So, we start off and we see pretty much Kraven and Queen Goblin hooking up and kind of understanding each other. That Queen Goblin's, there's fire in her eyes, and in the fire, everywhere I've been, I follow the flames through eternity, I hunt her essence, I travel to the deepest parts of her, pierce the darkness hiding there, it is a sacred thing, like dying or being born, the distinction loses its meaning. I see her clearly now, poisoned by the legacy of a dangerous man, so am I, as she lives to purge herself, as do I. It's weird because Kraven's talking there, and then I think, I don't know who else is talking here. You would think it'd be the Queen Goblin, but I'm not quite sure. Our ceremony, like all ceremonies, had one purpose: to coax the unseen into the light. And then they evidently did a ceremony with a spear, and she's asking if it worked, and it did. The goblin's sins imbue my spear. You're free, Kafka. I don't feel free. Maybe I will once they find their way home. And that sets them up for using the spear to redeliver the sins of the goblin back to Norman Osborn. It's like, okay, that's kind of heavy. And especially since we did Tombstone stuff, and we're pretty much leading up to like a whole gang war with Hammerhead and everything. So we got a lot of plates spinning. So then we shift to New York City, where Pete's talking to Norman, just checking in on him. He's like, I know you have plans tonight, and just wanted to make sure that he wasn't stuck working at the office. Hardly feels like work. I've literally had to cool my jets while we repaired the damage Otto caused the lab. He wants to test fire the engine. Pete's like, I might check by later. He's like, that's not necessary. You've been working too much. I know, but, getting another call. Gotta go. See you tomorrow, not a second earlier. Felicia, and of course Felicia's just calling in. It's been a few weeks. Wanted to see how the inevitable drawn shades to press shut-in thing was going. Wait, where are you? I'm meeting Janice's friend, Michelle. Hold on, the lawyer? You know her? I've met her. Is this a date? What? No. Randy and Janice aren't doing well. I don't think they've talked since the wedding, or attempted wedding. We're going to compare notes to see if we can help. And that is an important, good friend thing to do. Of course, Pete's the main contact with Randy. Evidently, Michelle's the one with Janice. And they're trying to compare notes to figure out how to handle this situation. Which is a good thing. And leads to some kind of crazy shit. Wait, why did you ask if it was a date? Why do you think, Peter? Because she's hot. It's I'm glad that Felicia was checking in on him like that. And then we shift to Michelle, and she's like, it's 8:15. Is this your thing? What do you mean? Being late? That's a yes. Wait, no wait. Give me a do-over. I apologize for being late, and it will never happen again. So what say we order? And I kind of like the kind of back and forth kind of panels that we get there, shifting to get to this point. So we get to later, we see some wine. She's saying that you don't think that Janice should reach out first. Randy sped off without even asking which hospital his bride's injured father was being taken to. He sped off with his parents. I think he wanted to get them somewhere with less bullets. It's like, it's interesting because both have points, but I think Peter with Randy's is kind of stronger. And then cut off all contact with her. It's like, oh shit, yeah, then you get that. He tried to call one time, he should be knocking down her door. He's processing a lot. That wedding was a big, big reminder of what he was marrying into. Come on, every family has problems. What? So, what? Yes, every family has problems. But other families, don't have attempted wedding assassination. That almost kind of worked when it really shouldn't have with Tombstone's case. It's just like, yes, Randy's able to have super kinky sex with her. That's a check. You know what I mean? Like, yep, that, whoop, alright. We saw that with the, like, pre-wedding stuff. It's just like, yeah, alright. I don't think you have a full picture of what Janice's dad is into. I bet I do. No, Janice's dad is a scary guy. He's got a lot of extra legal stuff going on. Oh, I'm aware. Oh, are you now? How? And then we find out that she is actually his lawyer. And that produces one hell of a fucking dust up with him. I love Pete's reaction of just spitting out his drink. Which is interesting because he's got a straw for it, but he like takes a drink out of the actual cup instead of using the straw. I don't know why. It's just, it's not important to the story, but whenever you're like making art for things, I always wonder, why do you make them do that? I mean, granted, the maybe because to make the spit a little bit better, like, she's like, no, I'm Lonnie Lincoln's lawyer. Why are you acting so surprised? I told you I met Janice at law school. I thought you meant that you love laws, that you were a law lover. I am, and I believe these laws were designed to protect everyone. Even supervillains like Tombstone? Yes, of course. Don't tell me you're a Punisher guy. Is that it? You think Frank Castle's the hero? It's like, you don't know his history with him. He's like, I, of all people, know the Punisher's a villain, just like Tombstone, your client. And oh, sorry about that. The waitress pops up being like, dessert? And they're like, nope. It's like, well, if we are setting up for Michelle and Peter getting together, we are off to one fucking rocky ass start. So we'll see how that goes. And then we shift back to Kraven and the Queen Goblin. And we know that the orange is Kraven. Like, all his life, my father kept his casket closed, hunting a death worthy of him. And then the other person running to it. I will not follow him, but the casket, why do I keep it? I think that's another part of him, potentially. Yeah. Your father was a selfish man. There's only one hunt that can make you whole, and he took it for himself. But I've brought you a way to prove yourself his better. Your father became the spider, bested the spider's enemy to prove his worth, but his prey was weak, a pathetic rat. It's like, okay. So now we get pretty much the lowdown of what is Kraven getting out of this. You will best the spider's greatest foe. So it kind of lines up to help the Queen Goblin of, I guess, evidently Norman's sins, or at least the Green Goblin's sins, helped to create her. So what they're going to do is resurrect the Green Goblin to give Kraven a worthy hunt to end, and then end that for the Queen Goblin and end her stuff. First you must restore him, restore his sins, and then kill him, freeing me, and in doing so, freeing yourself. Go, Kraven, hunt. Then, of course, we see Norman and Pete, and he's like, I knew you'd come, and I knew you'd still be here. I told you I had everything in hand. It's late. Yeah, but my night went sideways, and hey, I was working on this thing for months. I'm not going to let you do all the fun stuff without me. It's like now, granted, I do actually think that that is a part of Peter's reasoning for doing this stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Also think you might need some company. I told you I didn't. I know, but the last few weeks have been rough. No need for you to be alone, Peter. You can't keep doing this. What? Then we also get a nice kind of like big page that explains the fall of X, which is very helpful to tell where everything's kind of going on in that regard. Even though that's kind of like an aside of what's kind of going on here. There's like spending every second, free second with me, scanning my face for signs of madness. I just want to make sure you're okay. I know that. One of the joys of these past months has been getting to know you better. I hired you to keep me honest, but I didn't appreciate how completely you take on that burden. I fear I've asked too much of you. And that's a cool sentiment for Norman. Like, the old Osborn wouldn't give two shits, a shingle, and a rat flying on a fucking roof tile. This one sees and understands people and understands what's kind of going on. And then Pete's like, no, I would never want you to, become the man who killed Gwen. Hey, it's not just that. The more I work with you, the more I recognize something familiar. The Norman Osborn I first met, the one who treated me like a son, I'm getting to think that might be the real you. And that's a big kind of thing for Pete to admit. It's like, damn, that would be kind of cool if this was the Norman. The man who got buried under all that other stuff. Peter, that means more than you. And then the lights go out. And everything starts going nutty-doo-dah. And then, but I had added triple redundancy as after Otto's attacks, which means if the system went down, it's bad. Suits. Norman goes to get his suit, saying that he needs a team ready, but he's going to just do it himself. And then we see, what in God's name? You betray the glory with these. You betray your glory with these rags, Goblin. As we see the fucking Kraven sitting there, having like fucking destroyed the Goblin armor. Like, holy shit. Numb your spirit. I'm here to enliven you. I will make you whole. Pretty much showcasing the fucking glowing spear of doom. Norman, I've got injured security. We're breached. Norman, and I kind of like the look of Spidey. Now, granted, it's a little bit harder to tell because of the red lights, but we do see it later on. But I love the way Spidey's drawn by Patrick Gleason. Now, granted, they've gotten a lot of good spider artists here. Like, there's very few times where I've been like, that looks kind of weird. Like, this just fucking hits. Of course, we see Spidey crawling on the wall, on the ceiling to get there, asking Norman. And Kraven's being like, this is your destiny, not his. Don't make him pay for your sins. Which, we will have to see how that kind of works out. Kraven, that spear, is that... Oh, God, I'm sorry, I tried. And then he locks and... He closes and locks the door as Pete's like, Norman! I respect a man who recognizes fate. Who knows it can't be stopped. Fuck fate, Kraven. He's showing the spear to him. Maybe, but I'll be damned if I don't try. As then Norman actually starts trying to fight his ass. He's like, yes! The goblin stirs. Let him out! As Kraven just starts like going at him. So I may best him. You are a king, goblin. Accept your crown. Accept... Huh? And we hear, what? It's like, what the fuck's going on? And then we get this great fucking looking art right here. As we see something blast through the wall, and that Pete pretty much turned on the engine to blast a hole in the wall. That's it for the plasma engine project, but I don't have much time to think, and I just love the look of Pete's Spidey sense. Just the overall look of his suit there, the webbing, it just looks so cool. I really love the lines and how fluid it looks. It denotes how Spidey moves without him even really moving. That's just the cool shit. And then, of course, the extinguishers are activated. He can't really see. He knows that they're danger because of his Spidey sense. He's got to fight on instincts. He's got to find Norman before, and I really like seeing that with seeing his eyes. And the thing is, we see that right before Kraven is to stab Norman, Peter gets in the way and takes it and says no. And then we see Norman say, my God, what did you do? And it's like, oh God. Like, Pete's gotten so much shit on, and then we get this going on. And then we see this transformation scene, which is pretty interesting. I do like the style of this. It's got black at the top and black at the bottom, and has it kind of like a movie reel. That's a really kind of cool way to do it. Kraven talking about he's watching the spider die and be reborn. I watched the spider run. No. What have I done? As we see that he rips off the mask that he's got, which is nuts. The feeling sinking into me. Unmistakable. Run. I'm no longer the hunter. Run. I am the hunted. As we see Kraven run away. And then we see that Pete is laughing like the goblin with flames coming out of the spider. The spider on his chest is blasted out. The balls on his arms are blasted out. And it's just like, oh God. it's almost like they're giving us Superior Spider-Man, and now we're thinking, oh, what if Norman was Spider-Man? But not really even at that level. What if the Green Goblin was Spider-Man? It's like, this does create narrative possibilities and potential. I just think it's too close to all of the shit that Pete's already been going down on. Like, I needed a breather for him to get to this kind of level. Like, I think this deserves an arc, like, a longer arc on its own, rather than leading us up into... This is like a big thing to happen. This should be given the weight that it deserves, and I hope it does, but I'm just like, Pete's been fucked over so much, and now we've got this, and it's like, okay, how is this gonna... This is gonna be a weird fucking one to resolve. I don't know how this is gonna work. So, now we know why Pete's going nutty-doo-dah, why he is pretty much going to do things that are kind of crazier because he's not in his right mind. He is pretty much taken over by all the sins and the evil of the Green Goblin. So, yeah, this isn't a situation where it was understandable how Pete was reacting with MJ being in the other realm and time going in a different kind of clip. They're going to have to be creative in how to kind of fix this kind of situation. I don't know how that's going to work, and I don't know how Norman is going to work this, and who else is going to be involved. So we also get a little thing of the gods, who are the gods at the end, where we are at Sevalith and Dimitri. How was your vacation? It was kind of boring. It was not boring. So what's the with the urgency and pack your bags and never let mind, just leave them. I just like watching you run around. Seriously, the avatar of the powers that be does, in fact, occasionally enjoy hamming your mule. Seriously? No. I got that itchy feeling in the back of my throat. Back in the real world, I believe things are about to go south, and south not slowly. So off we go, so off we go. It's like, okay, that's a cool little tidbit that we got at the end. So, I overall enjoyed this issue because I liked the character developments that we were getting between Pete and Norman, and the little checking in of Felicia, the relationship understanding between Pete and Michelle, and how that kind of deteriorated vastly, and at least that they are trying to attempt to do some stuff with the repercussions of, hey, that wedding didn't go that well, and Randy and Janice are having some problems. We're their friends. Let's actually try and do stuff. Even before they got in each other's ways, with like, okay, fuck you. And then Craven and Queen Goblin pretty much lining up their plan that they want to free Kafka from the influence of the Goblin, and in order to do that, they are attempting to resurrect the Green Goblin and Craven kill him to get honor status hunting kind of stuff. But instead, accidentally stab Peter with it, and we now have the Green Goblin with spider powers, and that is a scary fucking thing. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out. I hope that there is kind of like probably what kind of happened with Superior Spider-Man, where Peter actively at least tries to fight what's going on with the madness, kind of giving us an understanding and kind of like flipped kind of thing of like we'd seen Norman having to kind of fight with the Green Goblin persona as well, and seeing how Pete is different with that and what kind of help he needs to do with it. I just think it's a little bit... It's going into the territory of having too much being piled onto Peter. Like, I understand that his strength is going through adversity and getting through troubles, but you need an ebb and a flow with that kind of stuff where you actually need to let Peter chill out, be happy, and have some kind of calm, chill kind of shit, like where he's not really doing anything. Maybe hanging out with Doctor Strange, Captain America, some of the Avengers or whatnot, and doing kind of weird, silly kind of stuff, or even just like helping a kid with a cat or something. You know, like... Granted, they relentlessly are like, gotta go! Keeping a nice kind of pacing in certain respects, even though it took far too long for what did Peter do, and getting all that kind of information. So at least we aren't having to wait with that. We've got a clear understanding of what's kind of going on with this one. So, and also this next arc as well with Tombstone and the Gang War and all that. So we'll see how this kind of shakes out. Again, I'm uneasy about where this issue has been left off, but I've been enjoying what the writing team has been doing, barring the issues that we've pretty much discussed. And we'll see kind of what goes from here. Granted, the art's just fucking great. I love the ability to see the action scenes being done so well, seeing clear emotion in people's faces and everything, and especially with this fucking last one. You know, like, that's always a big thing. Granted, I have different kind of expectations for different kind of books as well, showcasing weird kind of crazy esoteric stuff for supernatural stuff, really cool crazy kind of tech for tech stuff, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how this goes in the next couple issues. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.